I remember seeing a video years ago of a marathon runner, and just yards before the finish line, this guy collapsed. He fell to the ground. He couldn't get back to his feet. He even tried crawling to the finish line, and his body just wouldn't cooperate. He hadn't hydrated himself sufficiently during the race, and so all of his energy was depleted. We know that the Christian life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if we're not staying hydrated on the living water of the Holy Spirit, so to speak, we too will run out of energy. So how do we do that? Isaiah 40, 30 through 31 tells us, "Even youths shall grow tired and weary, and young men shall stumble and fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." We've been looking at that word wait. We looked at that last week. And it says, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And it has several different meanings. It has several different applications. The one that we looked at last week means specifically to press pause and just to tarry in the Lord's presence. It means to escape the busyness and rushing from one task to another, to even lay aside our prayer list and to lay aside our devotional books for a moment, just so that we can rest in God's presence and His love, to just take time to appreciate the love and the approval of the Father who takes delight over us to the point that He sings and dances over us with joy. Not for anything, not because of what we've done, not because of what we haven't done, but simply because we belong to Him. We are His sons, His daughters. Now the word wait there is what we're going to look at today. It means to worship. Nothing easier, nothing more satisfying than to worship God after you spent time basking in His presence and delighting in the one who delights over you. See, worship is our response to the worth of God, to who He is, to what He's done for us. It's loving God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, loving the God who loves us with all of His heart, soul, mind, and strength. And we see that because He gave us everything. He gave us His best when He gave us Jesus. You know, the cross reveals to us that there is nothing that God would not do. There's nothing that God will not do for our well-being. I was counseling a couple a while back, and kind of in a heated moment in this counseling session, the wife turns to her husband and asks, "Do you even love me?" And he said, "Well, of course I love you." And she asks, "Why? Tell me one reason why you love me." And he paused for a moment, and then he shrugged and he answered, "I don't know, because I'm supposed to, I guess." Boy, I don't remember a time that I ever wanted to smack somebody upside the head when he said that. She wanted to know why he loved her. To her, "I love you" was just words if he didn't have qualities that he saw in her that he respected and that he admired and that he valued. Now, I love worship songs, and I think God does too, that begin by focusing on who He is and on what He's done for us. Before singing about how we feel about God, before singing "I love you," we reflect on the qualities and the acts of God that we admire, that we respect, that we value. You know, true worship begins there. And when it does, it anchors our love, it anchors our trust in who God is and what He has done for us, and not in our feelings, which are fickle. You know, true worship is remembering who God is, what He's done for us, and it fills us with strength and energy and passion and peace, especially when we're weary and especially when we're going through difficult times. Listen, you should worship God all during the day, but that's not what this passage is talking about. There is a unique value and blessing and refreshing and healing that comes from waiting in worship and pressing pause. And first of all, enjoying His love for us, and then reflecting on who He is, reflecting on what He's done for us, and then turning all that back into worship. Question for you to think about. Why do you love God? What makes him worthy of your love? I hope you'll think about that. I hope you'll even write the answers down, and then you'll take those things and you'll offer them back to God as worship. So here's our declaration today. It's another prayer. Simply, teach me to pause and wait in worship. Say that with me. Teach me to pause and wait in worship. One more time. Teach me to pause and wait in worship.